Okay, fifth graders, today we're combining two lessons, Module 2, Lesson 20 and Lesson 21, okay, because both of them are teaching us how to divide numbers by two-digit divisors. It can seem complicated to divide numbers by two-digit divisors, but if you follow the correct process, it actually isn't that hard. And I'm going to walk you through it today, and you'll have a chance to practice until you become familiar with the process. You should have gone over the problem of the day with your sub, but if not, please pause the video right now to make sure you can write down what the question's asking, the important information, and then show how you know. Then, after you're done solving it, please unpause to check your answer against mine. So, based upon this, we first converted to find out that 2.4 meters is 240 centimeters. And if we had to divide it by 12 friends, and we want to find out how many 7 friends could get, then we would have to do 240 centimeters divided by 12, which is 20 centimeters, and then multiply it by 7 to find out how many 7 friends would get, which is 140 centimeters. Okay, so whenever we are dividing, we always have to estimate, divide, and check. So we're always going to use the same process of estimate, divide, then check. Sometimes we might have to do it several times before we complete one problem. Let me show you what I mean. So we know that when we estimate, we always round the divisor first. In this case, the divisor is 21. So compatible or an easier divisor to think about might be 20. Then we look at the whole and we look and see what is a compatible whole with 20. Well, 60 is pretty close to 70 and it is compatible with 20. And I know that 60 divided by 20 is 3 because 6 tens divided by 2 tens is 3. So now if I'm going to divide, I have something to use. I know that I'm going to start with 3. So let's set up our standard algorithm. I know that 72 is the whole, it's living in the house, and 21 is the divisor, it's knocking on the door. Make sure that you're actually writing the actual problem into the standard algorithm, not your estimation into the standard algorithm. That's a very easy mistake to make. Okay, now, because I know that 60 divided by 20 is 3, and that's pretty close to 72 divided by 21. I'm going to start with 3 at the top here. Estimation gives me a point at which to start. I know what a reasonable guess or a reasonable start would be. So Dad divides 72 into 21 groups, and he thinks I can put in about 3 into each group. Mom's going to multiply. Okay, 3 times 21, I have to write my multiplication over here because I don't know how to do 3 times 21 in my head. Okay, that equals to 63. Then sister is going to subtract. I need to regroup. 12 minus 3 is 9. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay, and brother has nothing to bring down. 9 is less than 21, which means that I can't put 9 things into 21 groups. So 9 is going to be my remainder. I do know that we've learned how we can regroup that to become 90 tenths, but for today's lesson, we are just going to use remainders. So I think my answer is 3, remainder 9. Now let me show you how we could check our work. I know that 72 is my whole, okay, and I basically am splitting it into two parts. One part that is 3 groups of 21, we know that equals to 63, right? Because we just did the math right here. And my remainder is the second part, which is 9. If 63 plus 9 equals 72, which it does, then check, that is correct. So you can see that we first estimated over here to give us a sense of what a reasonable quotient might be. Then we use that estimation to help us with the standard algorithm, which follows the same process as easier standard algorithms of dad, mom, sister, brother, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And then we check our answer by considering we use the inverse operation of multiplication over here to find this part, and then we add the remainder. And if it adds up to our whole of 72, then we are probably correct. Let's try another example. Okay, again, we estimate, then we divide, then we check. Let's estimate first. I know that 23 is pretty close. My divisor of 23 is pretty close to 20, and my whole of 84 is pretty close to 80. And 80 divided by 20 is 4. So 4 might be a reasonable place to start. Now let's actually divide. Let's set up our standard algorithm. I know that 84 is the whole, so it's in the house. 23 is the divisor knocking on the door. Because my estimation told me that 4 was probably the right answer, or is close to the right answer, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to put 4 ones. I'm going to write a 4 in the ones place. Now Dad divided, right? That's how we got the 4. Mom's going to have to multiply. I'm going to check my multiplication over here. Do not be afraid to write out the standard algorithm for multiplication. This is one way to avoid making silly mistakes. So 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to regroup the 10. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 92. Did I have 92 to use up? No, I didn't. So what this tells me is that 4 is too big. The estimation of 4 was too big. So if 4 was too big, I should try the next smallest digit, which is 3. So now I have to write out the multiplication again. 23 times 3. A lot of 2-digit and 3-digit division requires a lot of guess and check. You try one number and multiply it to check it out, but sometimes it might not work. So you have to alter or revise your quotient. So you're going to have to do a lot of multiplication, and I want to see you write it all out, each step. Even though this one didn't work, don't erase it. Keep it there. Show me your thinking. Show me that you went from 4 to 3. Okay, let's continue on with our multiplication. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Now, 69, we did have 69 to use up. Let's let sister subtract and see what's left. I need to regroup. 14 minus 9 is 5. 7 minus 6 is 1. So I have 15 left over. Can I split 15 into 23 groups? No. As long as what's left over is smaller than your divisor, then you know that that is your remainder. And for today, you just write remainder 15. So I think my answer is going to be 3, remainder 15. Let's check our answer to see. If I do 3 times 23, let's see what we get. We know it's 69, right? 3 times 23 equals 69. And I have my remainder of 15. What does 69 plus 15 equal? Let's add it up and see. 69 plus 15 equals 84. So those two added up equals 84, which is my whole. Which is my whole. So check my answer is correct. I want you to pause the video right now and explain in your own words how you use multiplication and addition to check to see if your answer, including your remainder, is correct. Okay, now it's a little bit more complicated because we have a 3-digit whole, but don't worry, it's not that bad. We still follow the same process of estimate, divide, check. Our divisor is 46, which is pretty close to 50. I'm going to estimate that it's 50. And 369 is pretty close to 350. So 350 divided by 50 is 7. So I'm going to start with 7. I think that's a good starting point. Let's set up our division. 369 is our whole, living in the house, and 46 is the divisor knocking on the door. Now, I have to think to myself, what's my largest digit that has value 3? Can I do 3 divided by 46? No, it's too small. So I have to regroup it. 36 tens. Can I do 36 tens divided by 46? 36 divided by 46? No, still too small. So I have to think of it all as 369 ones. Okay, and I know based on my estimate that 7 might be a good place to start. So I'm going to try 7 ones. Okay, Dad divided. Now Mom has to multiply. 7 times 46. Show your work. Write it down. 46 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 4 is 28 plus 4 is 32. So 322. Let's go ahead and subtract. Sister subtracts. I get a remainder of 47. Now, 47 is larger than 46, which means I could have actually put one more into each group. So rather than just putting 7 in each group, what I could have done is put 8 into each group. So Dad's going to redivide. So again, a lot of times when we do this division, we have to try it. If it doesn't work, we have to go back and alter it or change it. Okay, so now Dad just divided. He had to redo his work. 7 wasn't right. It was too small. So we're going to try the next greatest number, which is 8. Now Mom has to multiply again. 46 times 8. I know that this is a lot of writing, but that's part of the process. Write down all of your multiplication. Let's multiply. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 4 is 368. So now sister can subtract. And we see that we only have 1 left, which means that that is our remainder because we cannot divide 1 into 46 groups. Now let's check our work. we are basically taking 8 times 46. So we know that 8 times 46 is equal to 368. That's our divisible part. Our remainder part is 1, and 368 plus 1 does add up to 369, which is our whole. So check. I think our answer is correct. Take a moment right now to read this question, write down what the question is asking, and write down the important information. Then use estimate, divide, and check to solve and find out what the answer is. Pause the video right now to see if you can solve this one on your own. Then unpause and check your answer against mine. Based on my estimating, my dividing, and my checking, I see that the answer is 7, but she would have 54 pencils left over. So because I want to put every pencil away, 7 pencil boxes won't be enough. So she's going to need 8 pencil boxes. Sometimes in the context of word problems, you have to think about, what does the remainder mean? Can I ignore the remainder? Does the remainder mean that I need part of another one? Is it possible to have part of another one? And if not, like in this case, it's not possible to have 7.5 pencil boxes. What's a half a pencil box, right? So in the context of this, the remainder means that you need a whole extra pencil box. So sometimes when you're doing word problems, you really have to think to yourself, what does that remainder mean? Okay, today, because we did 2 lessons, lesson 20 and lesson 21, you have practice problems in both lessons to do. So please circle these problems and do them. Then you have 2 lessons in Zern, or first do your exit ticket, and then you have those 2 lessons in Zern, and then use any extra time that you might have to work on extra practice problems.